Hello there everyone, and welcome to Nebuchadnezzar. It's a city building game set within the Babylonian era. So we're playing in Mesopotamia, what is today Iraq, roughly. And yes, the reason why we're playing this is because I was given a free copy, but also it reminds me of a game that I used to play way back in the day, which I really enjoyed, which was another city building game called Caesar 3. That one, of course, as you can tell by the name, was set in Rome, so you were building Roman cities. Here we're going to a different period. I believe there's also another one which is Pharaoh, and I think there's a Greek one as well. But in this case, we're in Mesopotamia, we're building Babylonian cities. And yes, without further ado, let's go ahead and start building a city, I'd say. Starting off with the first mission would have been way too easy, so instead we're going to start off with the fifth one. We're going to build on the city of Nebuchadnezzar, which is right here by the Tigris River in modern-day Iraq, in this time in Mesopotamia. We've got a few objectives here, and yes, let's go ahead and start. But before I start, I'm going to just say that this is not really a review, but I will be comparing it a lot to Caesar 3, and I will give my opinion more so than what I usually do in my Let's Plays. With that said, let's go ahead and start building. Right, and so here we've got the map where we need to build our city, and what we're going to start with is food. So I'm going to clear off quite a bit of area, and we're going to start building some farms here to feed our peasants. And I'm going to have one farm over there, where we're going to have wheat. And then I'm going to place another one, which is going to be a livestock farm, where we're going to keep animals. Animals which we will produce, that produces milk. And will be able to start feeding our peasants. I actually built that, I destroyed too much there. That's not how much I should destroy. There we go. And then we should destroy similarly on this one. And build roads. Not that these two need to be connected, but I'm gonna build a road like that. So that's a good start. But however, you are able to see here that there's quite a bit of really ground that this cannot be grazed by animals, and seemingly this ground here is dry, so won't make good use to actually try to grow anything there. We need to then divert water to this area, and we're going to do that by building 2 irrigation pumps over here, and we're going to make irrigation canals, fill them with water, and then as you can see as I draw these canals closer to this area, now it's full of water. Compare this to in Caesar 3, which is of course built on the Romans, and in that there's a big emphasis on making sure that the entire town has water to go around. So you built aqueducts and these reservoirs to spread around to get water all over town. And I find it kind of strange in that you weren't able to use any of that for irrigation. It was just to kind of get water around to fountains and wells within the town, and you couldn't use that to increase the amount of farmable land you had available. In this case, in this game, you can. So I think that's a great addition to that. There's also another thing. You can actually set how many workers you want to have working on the farm, so you don't need to necessarily build a new farm every time. Depending on how much you want produced, you can have extra workers. In this case, I can add another farmhand, a shepherd in this case, or a producer, and then there's the hauler, or the hauler, basically moving the goods where they need to be. So now that we got that, we need somewhere to store the goods. So I'm going to build a warehouse. This warehouse, we're only going to keep wheat. And then I'm going to have another warehouse where we're only going to keep the milk out of this farm right here. However, this one, yeah, we'll build that one there, and this one's only gonna accept milk. So now we're on a good way to starting our town. I'm gonna build roads around this to make sure that we got good access. Then I'm gonna drag a road straight through here, and we're gonna get some people in to work the farms. But first, I need to build some of the structures here. We need a market that needs to be within range of this warehouse right here, so I can get milk. I don't need to get the what's it called, the wheat, because we're gonna turn the wheat into bread. So I'm going to build yet another warehouse. We're gonna build it over here, and then I'm gonna have 2 bakeries in between. We're gonna build so we possibly have a 3rd one over there, and we're gonna drag a road right across there, and I'm gonna drag a road out there. And then usually what I build is house groups of 12. We're gonna build 2 of those. And then I'm gonna connect a road on the outside. And now we've got a basic setup going. I'm gonna speed it through, and we're gonna jump in once this system starts to work a little bit. Our little town system has now been up and running and has produced quite a bit of milk and quite a bit of bread, as we can see here. This entire storehouse is filled to the brim with milk, and this one is filled with bread. And since we're gonna kind of run out of production, we're soon gonna fill this one up with wheat as well, so we're gonna have a lot of access. But I don't need to wait for that, because if we go into the statistics, we can go ahead and see that we are producing 34 wheat, in which we're consuming 27, so that's overproduction, which is great. Same with bread, we're overproducing the bread a little bit. We're producing 27 per year, and we're gonna use up 24. Same with the milk. Maybe you want to add a little bit more, because now there's, a difference of 3, but there isn't really any droughts or any stuff like that. There's no fires and stuff like that, which also kind of the problem which I found with the game. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I like, but one of the things is it feels like, or at least as far as I've played anyways, it feels like you kind of always stuck in tutorial. There's never any risk of you your city collapsing because you run out of money or anything like that. If we compare that to, say, Caesar 3, if you ran out of money for the 3rd time, then the Emperor would be really cross, and he would give you a timeline until he actually sent his legions in to crush your city. Here, they're kind of like, oh, you ran out of money, maybe you can turn it around, or you should probably just restart. There's no real danger. Same with there's no catastrophic events of drought or fires and stuff like that. So in that sense, you never really get that sort of dread of your town. I need to produce this quickly. I need to set this up before my town kind of either runs out of money, or it's gonna set on fire. Crime is another thing that I'm kind of missing, and stuff like that. So you'd never really have this dread of your town, imploding on itself or getting destroyed by one way or another. Invading armies was another thing that was present in Caesar 3, where, Carthaginians would attack if your town was in the southern part of the Roman Empire, or if you were up in Britannia, Britannic barbarians would attack, and so on. Anyways, we've kind of set up our system, and now we need to get the milk and the bread out to the populace here. So we're going to add a market worker for milk, and we're going to add a market worker for bread. And because I want to get this quickly in here as possible, I'm going to add another hauler, so we get these goods brought in here really quickly. And then I'm just going to speed it up a little bit, so we're fully loaded in the market. And then, compared to the others, say in Caesar, where it was just automatic, the workers would just, you didn't control it in this way with a panel. The worker would just start moving the goods around. The problem with that was that the worker would work in kind of, you know, as far as he could walk from the market, which meant he would walk, in this case, in either direction. So he could be walking down here in the production section, and that wouldn't really be efficient. People on this side of the end would be starving when he's going around trying to sell goods over here. So in this case, you can actually set the route. I know in Pharaoh they kind of fixed this by you being able to put down certain markers on the roads so that entertainers or market workers wouldn't walk that way, so you can kind of put them out to block them from walking in on production areas or down lengthy roads that were really meant for something else. But I think this is pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and we want the worker, of course, to walk all the way around here. So I'm gonna set it up like this, and now she's making a going around all this. Obviously, I haven't really figured out the most efficient way of setting this up. There might be a better way to get them to go where you want. Maybe if I set it like that, that would be more efficient. I don't know. There's a couple of ways which you could do it. So now we got that going. If you speed this up, we can see the houses start to improve in quality, and that means that more people can move into them. There's a few here that hasn't received, but soon they will. Received enough goods. Now I think everyone actually has. And we've got quite a lot of people unemployed. In a lot of I think in both Pharaoh and Caesar, people would be quite unhappy with being unemployed and they would leave the city. However, though, in this game, you don't actually pay your workers anything, so there's no salary, which is also part of the problem. Like, you don't have that sort of timeline to get a good economy going, or trying to collect tax or anything to kind of outweigh the fact that you're paying you guys wages. So in this case, I can understand why they don't really are that all that concerned with not being employed, because you know they don't get paid anyways. So why would they be too concerned? And 62% of the populace here is unemployed. That's 908 people out of a total of 1,400. I can imagine the guys that are working now are probably kind of peeved at all these other 62% which just sit on their bum. But we're gonna get them working soon, as well as we start the next part of the city, because to reach the next level here, we're gonna need pottery, ceramics, and we're also going to need water to be provided to the city. We can actually start with the water already, but then we're going to jump over a little bit to start the ceramics work. So we've got a well building where we just got a woman that walks around providing water to the town. And we've got a system there going, having her walk around providing water, and then we're going to set up the clay. Now, I've already prepared the area here a little bit, so it'll be easier for me to kind of just set it up. And usually what you want to do is you want to move production areas away from the town buildings and so on. In this case, I don't think we'll get to a higher level where they actually need to kind of be away from pollution and have sort of the fineries. So we don't need to really bother with that in terms of this, but later on you will, so it's good to get that started, to get the idea in your head already to kind of move away the production areas or the pollution away from the town where the people live, as they don't need to live close to where the production takes place. Anyways, we're going to start setting up production, so I'm going to build... Damn, I missed that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. We're gonna build 3 clay mines. They're gonna send clay to this. So I've done similar to what I did here. So we got the raw material being brought in here, and then we're gonna have the raw material being brought to the production here, which is gonna produce the end product. Will be set here. So we're gonna go ahead and start building some ceramic workshops, and we're gonna build 3 of those. We're gonna check here. So we're now making 27 clay. We're consuming 27 clay, making 27 pots that will be consumed to 24 pots. But pots are something we're going to be able to sell later on, so we want to add quite a bit of people to this. So we're going to add another worker here, and I'm actually going to do this for all of these. So we're going to get quite a lot of people working with clay. And now we can see that we're producing 40 clay. But we need to produce more pots in return as well. Pots that we can sell. So in this case we're up to 36 pots. And if I add that last one, we should be 40 for 40. So, but now we need to get the pots all the way over here. And if currently, no market worker is going to make it, or no hauler from this market is going to make it all the way over there. Because if we go here and click on the hauler, he collects from this area. So there's nowhere close. So what we're going to do is we're going to build another warehouse over here. This warehouse is not going to accept bread. It's only going to accept pottery. And it's going to bring pottery in. And the pots over here are going to be sent out. But we need somewhere to deliver it. So we go back here to logistics, and we've got this caravan building. And I'm going to build that right there. And I'm going to set up a caravan that's going to pick up pottery. And it's going to pick it up here. And then it's going to go ahead and deliver it over here. And later on what I'll set up is a third step where we deliver it the excess pottery that is not used up here. It's going to be sent off and then shipped away, so we're going to sell that eventually. So now we got pots starting to we've got already 20. That's really great. I'm going to go ahead and remove those bread so we can get as many pots as possible. As this system takes quite a while to get fully going and I want to get the full amount of pots here. I've said pots so many times right now. It's so now we've got the system working pretty well. He's moving around a lot of ceramics, let's say. So now that's working. So we'll go ahead and reduce this guy, and instead we're gonna have a market worker that marks with pots or ceramics. And we're going to fill up the market, so now she's got full stock. And we're going to have her set a course just like the others. Maybe this one's better. That system is better. And with that, we should upgrade all the houses once again, because now they've got everything met. So bread, milk, ceramics, and water. So as you can see, now it's quite a nice town. And a lot of people are going to move in. Let's keep a check on that we've got enough food and so on. Yes, the system is working as intended. There are some efficiency problems here and there. But the efficiency is really because I'm overproducing a bit and we've got a lot stored. With that, we've got a pretty nice town going. Later on, I'm going to go ahead and add even more stuff to this town. But I think for now, we'll end this video right here, and I'm gonna make the next part of the town in another video, or in the next video. So with that said, I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!